I think the biggest shift for me over the last 2 years was probably more into financial commentary because it gives me more content to work off of and to add my own thoughts about. Because at the end of the day, there's only so many times I could talk about how to set up a Roth IRA. So
Yeah, so what that means is, I remember he said this once, he said, this main channel is going to be played out at one point. So I have to diversify. For example, I can do interviews, countless interviews. I can do reaction videos, countless reaction videos. I can do, for example, I think he has like a vlog channel too now, right? It's just like, that's like continuous content. While the main channel, at some point, it dies, you know? Hey guys, Bryson here. Welcome back to the show. And today, we're gonna take a look at the man, the myth, the legend, Stephan. Now, apparently, Stephan is earning somewhere around $6.1 million while living in Las Vegas every single year. And let's see exactly, another episode, by the way, of Millennial Money, and let's see exactly how Stephan is actually living. If you guys like these videos, go ahead and basically like the video. On top of that, also, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, shit notify. Without further ado, though, let's see what's going on with Mr. Stephan.
and this is my office. Come on in. Very super.
This is the office.
So I always have to sit right here to post a video. If we
What?
don't sit right here, we have a bad video. Since 2019, my income
It's only been 2019. That's crazy, huh?
has almost tripled. YouTube is very much like the snowball effect, where all the work you put in starts building up that momentum, which builds more momentum, which builds even more momentum.
That is very
There
true.
have been a lot of changes throughout these last 2 years. I've moved to Las Vegas. I now have 5 YouTube channels.
5? He has 5? I thought he only, the Iced Coffee Hour. Oh yeah, the Millennial Money. I didn't know he had the Millennial Money was actually his. I know he has the Stephan and the reaction channel. I know he had 5. That's awesome.
Content I'm putting out, and things are busier than ever. My name is Stephan. I'm 31 years old. I make
31 years old.
$6.1 million a year in
Look at this backyard, guys. Look at all this desert back here. That's pretty cool stuff.
Las Vegas, Nevada, and this is, wait for it, Millennial Money.
Millennial Money. Update. And if you guys don't remember, he moved from Los Angeles because taxes, okay? Was a big part of it. $2019 was the first year that Stephan earned $1 million from his YouTube channels. Nice. 2019, only 3, that's what, 2 years ago, right? So yeah, 29, yeah, only 3 years ago. And already he's earning 6.1 million from YouTube. That's awesome. But has also been very, very intelligent and very smart, not to basically, very smart with his content. And also very smart to not spend all his money on trash.
My day is really boring. People think it's really exciting. Honestly, 10 hours a day is probably just spent just in front of a computer. So I would say usually I'll wake up anywhere between like 6
looks a little tired, doesn't he? He looks a little tired.
a.m. and 7 a.m. And then
6 a.m. and 7 a.m. Not bad.
I walk 20 feet to my office, I close the door, and usually I don't come out until like 6 p.m.
That's kind of crazy. I don't like that at all.
Sometimes 7, but in that office, I'm just trying to think of video ideas. I'm trying to plan out different concepts. For some reason, I have an easier time planning videos on a beanbag than I do on the couch. But I edit on the couch. You could just take this, put...
Stephan still edits his videos? Why would he edit his videos? Delegation is very important, Graham. I don't know. You know, I don't know about that editing part. I probably wouldn't do that. If you're earning $6.1 million, for perspective here, right? Let's not, for example, say Stephan doesn't work a lot, but let's say he works 50 hours a week on average, right? Multiplied by 52 weeks in a year, that's around 2,600 hours a year. Now, if you're saying I make $6.1 million divided by 2,600 hours of work, each hour that he works is worth around $2,346. This means the 2-3 hours you spend on editing a video is costing you like $3,000 from $6,000 something like that, right? So it's probably not the best idea. Get somebody else to edit your content, Graham. Not the best idea.
Put it here. lean up, and just hand it away. And usually then after about 6 p.m., 6:30,
I love watermelon.
wrapped up and try to take the rest of the day off. So since the first episode, Macy moved in with me, and it's been really nice that like throughout the day I could take like
So I think Macy is his girlfriend, right?
little
Yeah.
breaks and we could hang out, we could kind of see each other. And it's nice just to kind of take myself out of the computer every now and then and just clear my mind and just relax a little bit throughout the day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But I personally wouldn't want a lifestyle where I wake up at 6 a.m. and I don't get out of the office until 6 p.m. I get the grind. I get that stuff, guys. Don't get me wrong. I wake up at 5 a.m. and usually by, I think I'm a hypocrite. And usually by, on a very busy day, maybe by 4 p.m., I'm done. But on a very like relaxed day, usually by 12 p.m., I'm more like done. I rather start my day very early. The whole goal of making a lot of money and all this stuff is just to, I used to think it was this, like work more, make more. But it's kind of shifted to like get financial freedom and enjoy life a lot more. Going with my family, doing things with them, with my friends, whatever it is, joining the church, whatever it is, like those things matter a lot more to me. Like I'm very, very strict when it comes to work and also like my life. Work is separate from my life completely. Not completely, but it's separate. Moving to Vegas. I moved to Puerto Rico. Graham was featured on Millennial Money in November 2019, and there is Kevin O'Reilly. People tell me I say his last name wrong. I think it's O'Reilly. I don't know, but I say O'Reilly.
I can't believe it's
O'Reilly.
already been like almost 2 years since then. Wow. So I grew up in Los Angeles my entire life. It's really all I knew, and when the
By the way, the house looks beautiful, Graham.
pandemic hit, it really made me reevaluate where I wanted to be and where I wanted to work. And once I came up to Las Vegas to see a friend, we really got to experience
I think you went to see Jeremy and
a
taxes.
different side that I've never seen before. And I really liked it. And I was able to get so much more for the money. I was able to get so much more space.
Look at that.
Everything was
Look
less
at that.
expensive.
That's a beautiful house. And by the way, same thing here with Puerto Rico. Like looking at New York and looking at a property for like $600,000, looking like what that amount of money can get me, for example, in Puerto Rico, is just completely different. Being right next to my family, only paying like 4% of my taxes. Like all these things were just like, hey, here's a pro, another pro, another pro. And everything else basically like a con living, for example, in the mainland. At least for me though.
And that allowed me to expand my entire business in ways that just was not as possible in Los Angeles.
In December 2020, Graham gave up his real estate license. Interesting. And quit his realtor job at the Oppenheim Group. I mean, it makes sense, when you make $15 million and that's your net worth, for example, you don't really need to have those jobs anymore, right? Because you do those to kind of like grow your seed money, seed capital and all that stuff. But at a certain point, if you don't got to do it anymore, then why keep doing it? You know what I mean? And this picture right here has become so famous. This one right here.
There's certainly a financial component to moving here as well that would allow me to get a home that is almost 4,000 square feet for half the cost in
That's a beautiful home.
Los Angeles. It allows me to have people working from the house all day, that we could collaborate with each other, that just
This guy's editing, so I'm guessing he edits his videos too. So makes sense.
wasn't as doable in Los Angeles. And there's certainly the state income tax. I would be saving 13.3% living here, and so that has to be
And 13.3% doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot when you're making $6.1 million. It's a lot of money.
factored in. That allows me more money left over that I could reinvest elsewhere, and a lot of that money just goes back into the business.
That's awesome. And by the way, Graham has changed a lot too, because initially he was very, very adamant about like, hey, I kind of like this small system, like this small group. But he understands that in order to scale the business, he needs other people to actually help him out. So that's awesome.
This is my set, and
By the way, Graham, I won't say that. Never
I was
mind.
able to completely duplicate the exact same thing that I had back in LA.
Yeah, looks pretty much the
So when I'm
same.
filming, everything stays the exact
By the way, is that a garage? Is that a garage, or is that like just like a car in there?
same, and there's really no changes that are made. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. It
Yeah.
also really helps too that it seems like a lot of the financial guys on YouTube all live in Las Vegas, and it almost seems to play into the whole frugality thing where you are living in an area where your money goes further.
Yeah.
And it was something that I've never experienced before because I've always lived.
And by the way, if you think your money goes further in Las Vegas, you don't know what it does, for example, outside of America. It just goes beyond whatever you think it can actually go. It's insane here. I've met a few very wealthy, well, just a few people here that are very wealthy, and they have insane things here because it's just like a lot. Your money just goes further.
In Los Angeles, so that was the norm. So leaving that and being able to experience something new just gave me a much wider perspective of what else was out there. Ramsey wants to help. Ramsey, what do you think?
Ramsey, the cat.
Oh, yeah,
He's got him big.
likes that. The money I keep in bank accounts has certainly increased, and some of that is just to continually pay taxes as they're due.
Yeah.
But the other aspect of it is that
He keeps around $2 million in a high yield savings account. That's a lot of money.
I am always on the hunt for a good deal, and I never know where that's gonna come. So I prefer to keep some cash on the sideline.
This guy reminds me a lot of Warren Buffett, like how he keeps cash and he bulks up cash until he finds a deal and he takes advantage, right? I think when you make more money, it reveals your real character and who you really are, you know? That's awesome. Congrats, Graham.
Just if I see a good real estate deal come up, if there's a good investment opportunity, I'm always able to jump on that.
Graham saves about $400,000 per month. Graham saves about $400,000 per month. That's an insane amount of money to think about. He invests 60% of it, and the rest goes towards taxes and savings. That is awesome. In October, Graham bought a 4-bedroom house in Las Vegas for $1.44 million with a 15%. That's a crazy amount of money, bro. That's a lot of money for some property. But again, this is going to be his personal house, right? This is where he's going to live, where he's going to stay for a while. But it's a lot of money. Relative. He acted as his own agent and put his commission towards closing costs, paying $172,000 out of pocket. Nice. Yo, did you guys spot that? Yo, look at this. He got Dave Ramsey in the back here. It's like a little cutout thing of Dave Ramsey here in the back. That's funny. His mortgage is about $5,000 per month. And by the way, the rules still apply. The rules that I've created, for example, like the 33% rule, still applies for people like Graham, right? But when you make this much money and you have like this frugal mindset, you're able to just do a lot more. So $1.44 million doesn't sound like a lot relative to making $6.1 million. While, for example, $500,000, when you only make, for example, $60,000 to $100,000 a year, it is a lot, right? So everything is relative to your income and also to the skill that you actually perform. This is a beautiful home. Graham spent $45,000 on his 310-gallon aquarium. That's a little stupid. But again, everybody has their thing that they actually want to buy. That's kind of like the equivalent of me buying like computer gear and stuff like that. That's something that I would do. You know what I mean? So everyone has like the little splurges. But again, $45,000, right? $45,000 divided by $6.1 million. Relativity. That's only about 0.73% of his wealth for the year that actually went towards his little tank or whatever. So it doesn't sound like a big deal. Again, everything is relative to a person's income. Remember that.
Every single time I walk by to the kitchen, I'm just sitting here looking at it for like 30 minutes. And every single time.
What's so expensive about it though? That's one thing I think it's probably like the coral and like designs or whatever. And like maybe like there's a whole habitat in there. I think a lot of people that make a lot of money and live in like nice houses, they get overcharged for things a lot of the
time you see something new. So I still track every week all the money that comes in, all the money that goes out, but there is really no budget at this point that I stick to because like the default is always.
That's awesome. Las Vegas home, $6,400, food $820. And that's food for him and I'm guessing his girlfriend also. So that's like $400 per person. Utilities, car, he's still paying for that Tesla. Discretionary, not bad. Insurance, not bad. This is very frugal. Again, relative to making almost like 400 something thousand dollars a year, a month.
I'm gonna save. The default is never spend.
Same here. Same here.
112 degrees. Barely feel it. Yeah, it doesn't feel
What is he driving?
any higher than 95
That's an Audi, right?
today.
Where's the Tesla, Graham?
How did the smallest person end up in like the best seat of the car?
If I do spend money, I mean, it's not enough to ever really move the needle.
That's
At
good.
the very most, it's going out to all-you-can-eat sushi at like $21 a person, and that's me even like.
But you have to be careful with this mindset, right? Because again, this mindset can get you in trouble. Like when you don't make this much money and you're like, I don't have a budget, I don't really spend that much money. But then when you add everything up at the end of the month, you're like, oh, shoosh, I just spent a lot of money, right? So it's all relative. So it's very important you keep out. Like for me, right? I know that I won't be spending more than like maybe like $2,000 per month. Like just me personally. When it comes to like my rent, my utilities and everything else, I'm not spending more than $2,000 per month. Like almost impossible, right? So if I want to buy something here and there, that's fine. But if I do it all the time, it can potentially just go out of board or like out of hand. So be careful. Like once you have a good system, you practice it, then you'll probably be fine.
Extravagantly spending. There it is. Super sushi.
Super sushi. I hate sushi. Never had it. I shouldn't say I hate it. I never tried it. My fiance though loves this thing, but she only gets the shrimp tempura. I want to try like a vegetarian roll. You know, I'm not big into raw fish.
I will get the bankroll. From a spending standpoint, there are some changes from about 2 years ago. The biggest change was that back then I would do anything just for the sake of cutting back a little bit more and saving. And at this point, I definitely eased up a little bit.
That's good. That's good. And by the way, this mindset is very important to understand, right? When you become very frugal in order to get financial freedom and you get it, the switch doesn't turn off. Now you're not, for example, like a more spendy person. You have to like purposely get yourself to spend money because you might even feel guilty about it, even making this much money. So it's very important that you have a system in place.
And the biggest thing that I would say that I've started spending money on that I never imagined
Experiences, food, and friends.
in the past was being able to buy back my time. As an example of that, I would
nice.
say sometimes delivering food to the house, if that means that I could save an hour and a half or even.
That's very good. Also, editing. Get somebody to edit all your videos, Graham. Yo, look at Graham. Graham has some muscles on him, man. Nice.
I could spend an extra hour and a half with Macy so she doesn't have to cook. Even getting a house cleaner, that was something that.
Same here. Same here, bro. Editor, house cleaner that comes in. I still do my own like grocery shopping, which I'm not a big fan of. And there's not really that many services in Puerto Rico that actually do it. But potentially I might be doing that too. But again, here in Puerto Rico, it's like house cleaner is like $100 per month. So again, guys, relativity is very important. $100 per month. Maybe somebody pick up my groceries. It's like another $100 per month. Doesn't really like impact me that much.
Never done before.
Graham split $250 a month with his girlfriend to hire a cleaning person for the house. Interesting. Interesting. And he now spends $130 on a pool technician. Ugh, that pool stuff, man. Pools are cool, but pools are expensive. And how often do you actually use it? That's the thing. Graham spends about $820 on dine-in and takeout for him, Macy, and his team. Nice. And then again, this is tax deductible. It's for a lot of little smart tricks here. Split the team. It's business negotiations being talked about. Macy pays around $300 per month for the couple's groceries. So it sounds like relative. Macy is trying to pull her weight in some sense, right? Like, I live here. We're not married yet. I'll buy some foods here and there. I'll help with the cleaning service. Is that bad? The answer is no, not really. Not really. It's not really bad. It's their agreement as a couple. Once they do get married, potentially, it'll probably just go like all the money that she makes and he makes probably just go to like the same pile and they just handle it from there. No need to really split everything all the time. growth on YouTube has been phenomenal.
For sound, let's get that. There we go. And then, so when we filmed the first episode, I was spending about 20% of my time working as a real estate agent, and then the other 80% of the time till probably like 2 o'clock in the morning every single night.
That's crazy, bro.
I'd be making YouTube videos.
I never understood this. Can I be honest with you guys? I've never understood how people take so long to make a video. You know, me personally, right? Even at the height of our work, right? Me and my editor, we were doing, I think, like two videos for the main channel, 2 videos for the reaction channel. This was per day, by the way. And then, for example, like 6 to 8 videos for like the other channels, right? If I'm not mistaken, Danny, let me know. And then it would be like 5 a.m. to like 5 p.m. We'd be completely done, you know? And then we had like a lot of work for the whole week. But now it's like I can make a video in like 2 hours, 3 hours. I think the main difference between me and a lot of creators is like maybe Graham is trying to make like viral content. Maybe it takes a little bit more work and kind of like tiggle it around. But the way I make my content is more like I'm in a constant state of learning. Thus, I'm in a constant state of teaching. So whenever it comes to doing a video, all I have to do is just go back to my brain and say like, what did I learn this week? And what do I actually want to talk about and actually help somebody actually like learn, right? So it's a very different environment. I think that's the big difference.
But when the pandemic hit and we were all just inside, that was the point for me where I was like, I want to just go all in on YouTube.
Graham started his first YouTube channel early 2017. Nice. I started my first when I was 11. And I was 11. I don't even know when I was 11. What's 11? That was like 13 years ago, right? So what's 13 minus 21? Interesting math. Look at this, guys. Revenue, $85,000. That is awesome from the coffee hour one. And look at how it starts. It always starts this way, you know, like and then it just goes up. That's awesome. Graham income comes primarily from YouTube ads, Teachable, sponsorships, and affiliates. That's awesome. So at least now he's diversified a little bit more. I plan on adding this to my income stream now. The Teachable. As we work on our course, I haven't really done any of, like, I do affiliates, but it's fairly nothing. And sponsorships, I get reached out to. I should become more active in that too.
I think the biggest shift for me over the last 2 years was probably more into financial commentary, because it gives me more content to work off of and to add my own thoughts about. Because at the end of the day, there's only so many times I could talk about how to set up a Roth IRA.
Yeah, so what that means is, I remember he said this once, he said, this main channel is going to be played out at one point. So I have to diversify. For example, I can do interviews, countless interviews. I can do reaction videos, countless reaction videos. I can do, for example, I think he has like a vlog channel too now, right? It's just like, that's like continuous content. While the main channel, at some point, it dies, you know? That's why you see, for example, PewDiePie, KSI, all these guys, like the big guys, even Logan Paul, at some point they have to redirect their content towards something that's more like reaction based.
So in 2020, the YouTube ad revenue made about $2.5 million.
That's crazy.
And in 2021, we're on track to probably hit about $2.8 to $3 million by the end of the year.
That's awesome.
Hey guys, want to come to the office? Yeah. Cool. 2 years ago, I was pretty much doing everything myself. And it got to a point about 1.5 years ago where I had no time. I mean,
yeah,
I was going from probably 6 o'clock in the morning to 8, 9 p.m. at night.
That's trash.
As much as I enjoyed it, it was slowly wearing down on me. And the tipping point for me was really when I started to see my own content and my own work decline. That's the point where...
Which does happen. Delegation is very important.
It started making sense to bring someone else on. Posting time, you know what we need? We need one of those little bells. Bang, 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 bang. That's what we need for posting time. Bang, bang, 3:30.
So I know the other guy. The other guy is, I think his name is Jess or something like that. I don't know the new guy though. I don't know the new guy.
So Jack now we have full
Oh, Jack, not Jess, Jack.
time. He edits the videos on the second channel. He runs the podcast with me. We've just recently hired on Alex, who helps edit some of those videos on the podcast. He's doing the vlog. And these are things that just wouldn't be possible on my own.
Nice.
I enjoyed just being like a one-man operation. I took a lot of pride in the fact that like
Yeah, a lot of us do. It's a very egotistic way when it comes to entrepreneurs. A lot of us have this thing, right, where we're like, I did it on my own. I do everything on my own. I felt the same exact way. And then I hired Danny, and I'm like, I don't really want to do everything on my own. And by the way, I didn't hire Danny because I wanted to. I'm just being honest. I hired Danny because I remember I was reading books. It was this book called The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster. And it was like, as an entrepreneur, you think you're the best possible person to do the job that you're currently doing, but in reality you're not. There are people out there that can do a much better job than you can, and I'm happy that I have Danny, because Danny does a much better job than I can. For example, when it comes to like editing the content, posting the content, and getting the content out there. That to me is awesome. Eventually, you know, will I hire people on, more people on? Maybe if the work gets like maybe a little bit too much, but pretty solid for right now. For right now, we're pretty solid.
you know, look at all these people out there with these huge teams, and look at how much I'm able to accomplish on my own.
Yeah, it's the PewDiePie factor.
But I think at a certain point that was holding me back from continuing to grow, because there's only so much work that I could do before just mentally you get burned out, and then at that point work begins to suffer.
Yeah, because imagine you trying to make, for example, 4 or 5. By the way, there are something called productive hours and non-productive hours. You have the 80-20 rule, right? And imagine Graham saying like, I wake up at 6 a.m. and I stop working at 9 p.m. Well, I made 2 videos during that time, and I spent the last 10 hours editing videos. Is that productive? The answer is no. It's not really productive. So that's the problem with this whole theory. That's why you need help, people to come help you to get the work out there a lot better. I'm stuttering a lot.
So there we go. So I just got the notification, so I see it posted. 1 dislike already. Somebody's there. It's like, get the notification, dislike. Another thing I do out of superstition is that I always click on the video as soon as it posts, and I'll watch it all the way through just to make sure everything is perfect. And as you can see, I always hit my own like button.
That's awesome. Looking ahead.
Back then, like 2-3 years ago, I was indiscriminate about where I would be spending my time.
Oh, he has the bankroll coffee thing.
There you have it, espresso. I would work 2 a.m. I would wake up at 6 a.m. I just wouldn't care. I would just.
Oh my gosh, I was like that too at one point. It's very unhealthy, and your body shows it. The way you speak shows it. Your video shows it. Your work shows it. Like, oh, that hustle never stop. I don't really support that much. I believe in the 8 hours that you need for sleep. I believe in at least 1 hour a day for exercise. And I believe in productive work, productive work.
Work
and relationships.
Work. It didn't matter where I spent my time as long as I was doing something productive. Now I feel.
And productive is relative, because productive is based on what work that you do is going to give you, for example, like the best return, right? What's the most important thing? Because the only thing Graham does that's very important is make content, right? That's the only thing Graham, right? Because Graham is a personality. So he has to do that stuff. He has to make the content. But everything else from posting content doesn't have to do that. Everything else from editing content doesn't have to do that, right? Those are checking emails, not really, There's a lot of filters you can actually do by just hiring people. So focus on the important things. That's what I mean.
I feel like I work a lot more efficiently, and every hour of my day is allocated to doing something. So I really look at, where is my time best spent? How am I able to get the most done during that time? And
that's awesome. Just be careful becoming very religious with that whole schedule of like every hour is accounted for. If something's out of place, I'm freaking out. I've become a lot more liberal, I know from X to X I'm working, from X to X is family time, but I don't really mind interruptions, because the goal is to be ahead, right?
And I've done my best to try to find as much balance as I can between having a life a little bit and working, even though I will say, like, work is my life in quite a big sense.
That's awesome.
And I enjoy it, but I've definitely become a lot more efficient and balanced in the process. I certainly think there is that risk of building your entire career on YouTube and potentially being at the whims of an algorithm.
That is very true, Graham. But a lot of times we forget why we do things, right? But the reason you do YouTube, you become a lawyer, become a doctor, is to become like help people, obviously, but it's a capitalist country. You're trying to provide a service in exchange for something you want. In this case, is money, right? Financial gain. So if you want financial gain in order for have personal security, and you love this way that you actually do it, in reality, once you have, for example, financial freedom, like your home is paid off, you have a lot of money in your investment accounts, and you have passive income coming in that you ever actually need, whether YouTube changes or doesn't change, it won't really affect you, right? That's the most important thing. So as long as it doesn't affect you financially, you're able not to think about that and just focus more on like, hey, I love the work I do. I love what I do, right? And just continue from there on. That's the whole idea. So I don't worry about the algorithm changing or things going crazy wrong. Because again, I'm just helping people. But I'm building a life where I won't have to be reliant on YouTube or any other source of income, honestly. That's the biggest thing for me.
But I think to counteract that, we have such a supportive community. I've tried to diversify a little bit to other platforms, and if something were to happen, I would always have something else to fall back on, and that relieves some of the stress or some of the need to, keep the hamster wheel going and really.
Yeah, because again, when you make a video, I'm not making a video for YouTube. I'm making a video for the 50 people that watch this content right now, right? It's like 50 of you guys, 34 of you guys that actually watch these videos. I know you guys, right? You guys are the people I make these videos for. So if you guys support the channel, whatever it is, whether YouTube goes crazy or doesn't go crazy, and I go to another platform called, for example, like Footmash, whatever platform it is, you guys probably follow me along because you guys are into the content, right? So it's about focus on community. I like this idea. This idea came from Pat Flynn. Pat Flynn does a great job with this stuff.
We do this from a place of authenticity in the sense that, like, I really enjoy making content, not so much because it's like, oh, I need to sustain this lifestyle.
Yeah, and that can be very dangerous. And you might think, well, that's impossible. There's no lifestyle he can sustain, right? No, I mean, he could have bought a house that was $6.5 million, right? And now he's like, how do I pay this stuff? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of YouTubers that they sabotage themselves. What I'm very happy about is that the industry has changed a lot, man. And Graham has opened up a lot of doors for a lot of people. I appreciate him a lot. I respect Graham a lot.
That just disappears if something were to happen to it. I don't know what's.
I didn't know Graham knew how to play the piano. Does he?
So. I don't know. I'm just embarrassed. Go.
Or maybe he doesn't want to play a song so the video doesn't get copyrighted. Graham's very smart, man. Guys, overall, what do I think about Graham Stephan, man? I think Graham Stephan is awesome. I think just like anybody else out there, not perfect, just like I'm not perfect. And one thing that I did when I first started my channel, when I first started everything I do in life, is that I model myself after people, after the good characteristics that they actually have. So to take away from Graham is like, Graham is very, very smart when it comes to his content. He's very picky about his content. He knows exactly what he's doing when it comes to his content, right? It's awesome, okay? So if you want to be like Graham, take some notes from him, right? But also take notes of the bad things he does, because we all do bad things. Maybe not, for example, I don't want to work from 6 a.m. to like 6 p.m. It's not really the lifestyle I actually want. I don't just want to do this and that, right? So very important. I remember I did this whole thing. Video is long already, I know. But I remember I went to Dominican Republic, and I followed around my uncle, which is someone that makes a lot of money, right? A lot of money. More money than I ever thought. And he was like, I follow him for like a whole month, step by step, every single day. And I took notes. Hey, he does this great. Connections, hard worker. And I was like, here's the things that he does that I don't want. I don't want a lifestyle like this. I don't want this much anxiety. I don't, so just like write down the good, write down the bad, and then take the good and throw away the bad, right? The great thing about people is that you're able to look at the mistakes they make and not make them. And when you're actually making those mistakes, you often don't notice, so transform your life the way you want it. So shout out to Graham Stephan. Very proud of him, very happy for him. It is amazing. Don't forget about health, Graham, okay? Health, wealth, love, and happiness. Don't lose it on that. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. If you want to call me, link is down below to call me directly for free. Or send me a DM on Instagram at Bryson. Or here's more content here. Or click my other channels right here to watch even more content. See you guys tomorrow. Long-term team for the win. And as always, peace.